Welcome back. It's Monday, February 13th in the NBA. My 5 favorite picks are on the way. Let's recap yesterday, a 1-0 NBA day. Derek White, thank you for the coin. Quick and easy. We'll take that. We're not bringing out the brooms for that, but we are bringing out the brooms for a 3-0 Super Bowl sweep. We love to see that end of the season in style. Dallas Goedert goes over. MVS, thanks, man. You got 0 yards, as many as you and I. We took his under, and then the Chiefs on the money line cash it. Not going to talk about the penalty. Questionable, but a great end to our NFL season. And if you tailed our prize picks and underdogs entries, congrats. You smacked those as well. Here are the winning tickets on the screen. We love to see that. Let's dive back into the NBA, though. If you are new, welcome to the channel. My name's Austin from Calling Our Shot. Thanks for spending some time with us on this Monday morning, evening, afternoon, whenever you're watching it. We appreciate it. Go down below, hit that subscribe button. We do these videos every single morning. Drop a like, too, and if you ever want to sign up for any sportsbook deposit matches or sign-up bonuses, they're all linked down below. I don't need to put them on the screen today. Go check it out. And if you want to join our discussion board with over 50,000 members, go join it. It's our chalkboard, top link in the description. Let's dive into our play today. I'm not going to have the best bet of the day. That's going to be sidelined until post-All-Star break, but we're going to start with the COS Hall of Famer, Jalen Brunson, under 31.5 points plus assists, minus 113 on FanDuel. You heard that right. That is an under for Jalen Brunson. You can probably play this honestly down to 29.5, 30.5. I'm fine with it there. And if you want to just go to just under in points, I like that too. Now, currently on the year, this is not a typo. Jalen Brunson is a COS Hall of Famer. That means we cashed a lot of picks with him, and it doesn't fail for us. In fact, this season, 9-0. Yes, 9-0 on Jalen Brunson props. We're trying to go to 10-0 today. He's been great to us this year. Let's go to 10-0. Now, you think about Jalen Brunson, obviously an all-star snub. He was obviously been really, really good recently. I'm a Knicks fan. I love what he's been doing. Despite being really good, still under this line in 8 of his last 14 games. And today, he gets a really, really tough matchup against the new look Nets. Now, the post Nets, the pre-All-Star break Nets, where they had Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Joe Harris, Seth Curry started, that team stunk. It wasn't the best defensive team. But with this team together, they instinct realistically just not great at defense. In Brooklyn's first game back with all these guys, new guys like Mikal Bridges, Dorian Finney-Smith, Spencer Dinwiddie, all the guys healthy, they played at the slowest pace in the NBA, and they have several elite defenders. The guys that are going to guard Brunson today, you're going to have a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith, the guy that played a ton with him in Dallas, and a guy like Mikal Bridges, one of the best players in the NBA on the defensive side of the court. And you also got guys like Ben Simmons, Royce O'Neal, even Spencer Dinwiddie. All these guys are pretty good defenders, if not elite defenders in the NBA. And then, if they try to get Brunson onto a center, well, Nicholas Claxton's there, and he's one of the best centers at stealing, blocking, doing everything to contest shots. And so at the end of the day, you look at a guy like Brunson, 6'1", going to be guarded by a guy that's 6'7" or taller, basically the whole entire game. And Brunson has struggled against Dorian Finney-Smith, played the Dallas Mavericks earlier. Dorian Finney-Smith guarded him, 16 points plus assists in 27 minutes of action as the Knicks got blown out in that game. He's also played against Brooklyn earlier this year. He went under both games with 16 and 30 points plus assists. And that was games where they were starting Seth Curry, Joe Harris, Kyrie Irving, all three not very good defenders. The Nets, just last game against the Sixers, allowed just 17 assists as a whole. That would actually be 5.7 lower than the Cleveland Cavaliers, which allow the fewest assists per game. So I don't think he gets a lot of assists today. And while you could say, well, James Harden went and scored a lot of points, well, they couldn't double off of Joel Embiid. So I think you're going to see them potentially double in Jalen Brunson on any drives. You're going to make him force a kick out to knock down RJ Barrett, knock down shots, Josh Hart knock down shots. And at the end of the day, I know Brunson's been really good, but he's still been going under more often than over. Give me his under, 31.5 points plus assists. I love his points under if you just need an individual line. Let's move to 10-0 on Jalen Brunson props. Let's hope the COS Hall of Famer can keep treating us nicely. Now let's keep it moving. We still got 4 more plays. Jordan Poole over 25.5 points is our next one. Minus 115 on FanDuel. You can play this at 26.5 or take his points and assists line if you want that too. Now, last game I made the mistake of going away from Poole, went to Klay Thompson, and hopefully it's not the reverse today. And Klay's going to get up his shots. There's no around that. He might hit his over as well, but Poole's guy, he's never seen a shot he didn't like, especially with Stephen Curry not out there. And in the last 2 games, we've seen Poole score 38 and 29 points hitting the over on each of those games. But the biggest thing, 25 field goal attempts in each of those games. Look, if Poole's going to go out there, shoot 25 times, probably going to hit this over more often than not. He's also capable of getting to the free throw line 4+ times, sometimes even 10 times on a good occasion. And you look at last game against the Lakers, 29 points, very low scoring game. He only had 5 points in the first half. That's what Poole sometimes does. Sometimes just doesn't do well in one half, but he turns it on the other half, and I think he's capable of doing that today. And we've seen Poole. If he gets hot, he's going to keep firing it up there. And the Warriors, again, without Stephen Curry. Potentially Andrew Wiggins is out today. So it's a short-handed team. And you've seen in 18 games this year without Curry, Poole averaged 28.3 points per game, going over this line in 12 of 18. So he's been pretty good. Several of the games he went under were blowouts, and some games he just didn't get his field goal attempts. Not worried about either of those today against Washington. And Poole, he's going to probably shoot the ball 20+ times, and this is a great matchup. He already played this Washington Wizards team earlier this year. Klay Thompson sat in that game. Steph Curry was active, still scored 32 points. Another game, he scored 26 points against Wizards last year. Both of those 2 games, one of them he shot shot 1 for 10, and then the other one, Steph Curry, dropped 41. So given that he's going to be the number one guy on this offense, this is a team that really has struggled defending opposing point guards. Over the last 15 games, Wizards allowed the 8th most points per game to point guards. Just saw them give up 21 to Tyrese Halliburton, a guy that's not very aggressive. Poole, going to go out there, shoot the ball a lot. He's had attempted 20-plus field goal attempts in 19 games this year, scored 26 or more in 13 of 19. He scored 20-plus in all 19 games, in case you want to do 20-plus points. And he's also landed on 24 exactly on 4 separate occasions. So when he attempts 20 or more shots, he scored 24 or more points in 17 of 19. I'm confident he can get to 26. Should be a close game against Washington. Not the best defensive team. Should be firing it up. Really like Poole today. We're having a Poole party. Over 25.5 points. Now let's keep it moving to a guy that was traded at the deadline. One of the bigger trades, Mr. Kyrie Irving. Over 30.5 points plus assists. Now, I don't normally like to take a lot of points plus assist lines, although we have, I think, 2 of them today. But if you just want an individual line, points is the way to go. As Kyrie, we know he could hit this over in just points alone, and maybe he does that today. Now, let's think about Kyrie now in Dallas with the Mavericks, and he's with Luka Doncic. Now, Luka's going to obviously take a lot of the workload, and he's going to shoot a lot. But it's not like Kyrie wasn't with Kevin Durant a lot, and Kevin Durant was shooting a lot himself too. And you look at their first game together. Kyrie hit the over, 28.7 assists. That's 35 points plus assists. Today we need 31. And well, yes, if I were to dig deeper into that game, he did need overtime to get there. In fact, in regulation, he only had 27 points plus assists. But prior to that, he had played 37 minutes prior to going into overtime. So the minutes are there. We know Jason Kidd runs his guys into the ground, and he just didn't shoot that well in that game. At 27 points plus assists prior to overtime, only went 8 for 18 from the field. And I look like a guy like Kyrie Irving. You can't get double teamed here because Luka's on the court. And at the end of the day, they brought in Kyrie Irving to try to lessen the workload for Luka. They know when they get to the postseason, if Luka's having to do this all year long, it's not going to work. So Kyrie's in there to spell him. He's going to spell his minutes, going to be on the court, some without Luka Doncic to kind of want one or the other on the court at all times. And this is a team that doesn't have a lot of scorers. I mean, we think about Tim Hardaway Jr., probably their 3rd scorer. He's potentially out for this game due to a hamstring injury. Wouldn't be surprised to see them rest him here. They got 23 points out of Josh Green last game. That's not predictable. Christian Wood has been playing pretty well, but he's playing limited minutes off the bench. Dwight Powell doesn't do much on offense. So this isn't necessarily like a, hey, this is how many times he's hit this over recently. It's more of a, yo, someone has to shoot the ball and facilitate for this team, and it's going to be Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. I mean, Luka and Kyrie both had 14 potential assists last game. So Kyrie's there facilitating for his teammates, and the T-Wolves are not the greatest defensive team. They really only have one good defender. His name's Jaden McDaniels. He's likely going to go out there and guard Luka Doncic. He's a taller guy, so they're going to throw Jaden McDaniels on a guy like Luka, and maybe that makes Luka's job a little bit difficult. But on the other side, the Timberwolves allowed the 4th most points per game and the highest field goal percentage to point guards over the last 15 games. I think Kyrie's going to go out there, shoot 17 to 25-ish times, probably not 25, but 17 to 22 times. Going to get 10 to 15 potential assists in a fast-paced matchup. I'll take my chances. I think Kyrie's obviously one of those talented guys. Seems like he's in a better mental space here. Give me his over, 30.5 points plus assists. Now, my final 2 plays of the day, it's going to be a guy that we've never talked about on the channel for this next one, Mr. Walker Kessler of the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz fans are like, yes, he's getting some love. I'm taking his over 22.5 points plus rebounds, minus 104 on FanDuel. Now, this line was 21.5, but I don't want to lay minus 130 or minus 140 deuce. I'll take the minus 104 any day of the week. And if you want to play it at 23.5, go for it. And if you want an individual line, honestly, don't mind his points, don't mind his rebounds. Double-doubles, not too crazy, outside the realm of possibility. If you only have PRAs, go for it. It's like 23.5. He's not going to get a lot of assists, but he should be able to get you 1. Now, the rookie for the Utah Jazz has been playing pretty well, and he's been getting more and more minutes each and every day. And prior to the trade deadline, his minutes were always fluky. You never knew. But then they traded a lot of guys away, like Jared Vanderbilt away, and we've seen Kessler been in the starting lineup for a hot minute, but now getting even more and more minutes. And while the Jazz are, fluttering in that, playoff competition, at the end of the day, the Jazz, I don't think they really care about making the playoffs a ton. They would love to make it, but at the end of the day, they're trying to evaluate this roster for the future. They got a ton of picks, but they want to see who they can stick around here, and we've seen Kessler get a lot of minutes recently. His last 3 games, 25, 32, and 19 points plus rebounds. So going over in 2 of 3, the 19 came against the Knicks, the team that allows the fewest points per game in the paint, and Kessler only shot 3 times in that game. He still had 15 rebounds, so a great game for him rebounding wise, and that's what he can do. He can go out there and grab 20 rebounds on random occasions, but the most encouraging sign, 30, 32, and 35 minutes. Now, we got an upcrease in minutes due to Kelly Olynyk being in foul trouble, but still playing a lot of minutes, and today he gets the ideal matchup. Over the last 7 games, the Pacers, who he plays today, allowed the 2nd most points per game, 5th most rebounds per game to centers. Now, Miles Turner, the center that usually starts and gives up those stats, well, he's questionable today. So if he somehow doesn't play, you're going to get Daniel Tice out there. Yeah, their defense is going to get even worse, and we've seen Kessler play a lot of minutes recently in his last 10 games with 25 or more minutes, which I anticipate he plays at least 25 today, maybe even more. played pretty good. I'm putting all up the numbers on the screen, but over in 7 of his last 10 with 25 or more minutes, finishing on the hook with 22 in 2 of those games. So I certainly think he's capable of getting over this. It's a great matchup. The Pacers are, bottom 10 to 12 in points per game allowed in the paint. And the Pacers also allow the second most offensive rebounds in the NBA. And you look at a guy like Kessler averaging over 7 offensive rebound chances, but it's 3.4 offensive rebounds in just his last 5 games. Miles Turner is active. He's going to try to block a lot of shots. Maybe that leads to some easy offensive rebound tip-ins or things like that for Mr. Kessler. 22.5. I think it's a little bit too low of a line. If he cashes today, won't be surprised if we continue to run this back for a couple more games. I think Kessler's really solid. We'll take his over 22.5 points plus rebounds. Like I said, PRAs is not bad. Don't mind either of his individual lines. Now, my 5th and final play of the day will actually be a same game parlay. I won't title it as a bankroll builder because it's all on one player, and it's Mr. Paolo Banchero. We're taking his over 6.5 rebounds and over 1.5 assists. Now, if you're on DraftKings, which is where we are, this is minus 110, and then we're putting 1 unit on this. If you're on FanDuel, they have the line at 7.5 for Mr. Banchero for rebounds. I don't mind that if you just want to take that. No need to add on the assist. But on DraftKings, I like the 6.5, and I honestly would make the 6.5 a regular straight play, but at the end of the day, his 6.5 rebounds like minus 145. I don't really want to give out a minus 145 play, especially for rebounds, because I know it's going to move up to 7.5. So you can play either of them. Do whatever you want. This is a same game parlay on DraftKings, though, if I didn't make that pretty clear. And look, Banchero has been doing well on the rebound side, but if you want the assists, he has 2+ assists in 23 of his last 25 games. His only 2 misses were against the Heat. So I think this is a good spot for him to get it done. And look, Banchero, he's been rebounding the ball really well, which is why I like his over 6.5 rebounds, because he's had 7+ in 8 straight games. 8+ rebounds in 7 straight games. And he's been averaging 13 rebound chances per game over these last 8. So he's really rebounded the ball well. And he's got a great matchup today against Patrick Williams and the Chicago Bulls. Now, the great thing about the Bulls is that they really have 3 guys to shoot the ball on offense: Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic. Well, Mr. Paolo Banchero is not going to guard either of those, any 3 of those guys. He's not guarding LaVine, potentially would guard DeMar DeRozan, but I imagine they put Franz Wagner on him, and then he's not going to guard Vucevic. That's going to be Wendell Carter Jr. So we've seen power forwards feast on the glass against Chicago this year because Patrick Williams is not involved a lot in the offense. Now, Banchero played this Chicago Bulls team about 2 weeks ago. He had 7 rebounds and 3 assists, only played 25 minutes. The Magic got blown out. The Bulls shot 59% from the field, so not a lot of rebounds out there, and the starters got benched. The bench played much better than them, and so I imagine they come out here, play pretty well, keep it short and simple. Over 6.5 rebounds, 2+ assists, or over 1.5 assists, we'll take it. Minus 110 on DraftKings. I'll put a unit on it. Those are my 5 favorite plays. We rarely do 5, but hopefully we can go 5-0 today. Bring out this broom. That would be absolutely electric. If you want to see any of our sportsbook deposit matches or signups or whatever, all linked down below in the description. Join our chalkboard too. We would appreciate if you're in there chatting with us, cashing some winners with you. I love you guys. Have a great day. See you guys back again tomorrow on Tuesday morning. See you guys then. Peace out.